Hey guys, it's Kelsey from Grassroots Canine here in Maryland, and I wanted to continue the discussion that I started last week about the potential risk and why we don't recommend putting your hand in your dog's food bowl. I understand the intent was to create neutrality with your dog and their food, but we see that as more harm than good. So I didn't really dive into things that you can do to combat food aggression or set your dog up for success to make sure that you're not having to worry about food aggression later down the line. Rather, I just gave a generalization of having your dog start working for your food. So I wanted to give you the particulars of our most recent client who is battling food aggression with their dog, Hank, who we just had recently here for a board and train. So a little bit of background about Hank. Hank is a 3-year-old blue tick hound, has a working genetic disposition, but was in a pet home. Hank lacked boundaries, lacked impulse control, as a lot of issues that we see seem to be umbrellaed under the lack of impulse control, and really saw his owners as competition when there was a high value reward, i.e. steak on the counter, or a bone on the floor, where he felt that need to act on his food insecurities with aggression. So what we did here is we established a positive association with the place command. So when we first establish a positive association with the place command, we are putting the dog in a non-distracted environment. We're controlling the variables here. That way we don't overwhelm the dog by adding all of his competing motivators at once. We'll be able to slowly increase the criteria of distractions depending on his success rate.
So at this point, Hank's place command is pretty reliable. So before we entered into this context, like I mentioned before, we've loaded this particular behavior and that it's going to pay him. This is our way to communicate to a dog, saying, here's the correct behavior that I want you to do when you're in these type of situations. And then what happens, as you'll see, is we'll release him from that place command. And he is still going to give us that reliable, neutral behavior and having impulse control, even though he's no longer on that elevated boundary. Hank, break! We call this bridging a behavior. Hank has successfully understood that this behavior pays him, not just a command. This is by classical conditioning. Eventually the reward goes away and the behavior itself is a reward.
So success for Hank. His food aggression is something that we were going to continue to manage, as he only stayed with us for 2 weeks and will be doing private training lessons, but stay tuned to his journey. He's already doing such an amazing job.